In a short time, your team successfully scored the first goal. Meanwhile, Mash is still standing below because he can't fly. At this time, Tom comes to tell Mash to fight, but Mash can't fly. Forgot to explain the rules to Mash, but just steal the ball and score a goal in a circle and get a point. Your team's current score is 49, and Mash's team has only scored 1 goal. After saying what needed to be said, Tom returned to the match. But at that moment Tom was being played badly. The person who caused Tom to fall also said that it was not intentional. Currently, your team's score is far behind Tom's team. After the recent crash, Tom's bones were broken. Tom tells Mash that it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses, what matters is whether he tried his best or not. It was these words that awakened Mash. He picked up the broom and used his strength to fly, but this broomstick magic was very strange. Mash frantically used his legs like propellers to fly through the air. Mash asks his teammates to pass the ball. The enemy team was still taunting Mash and jumped up to steal Mash's ball, but Mash grabbed the ball with one hand and forcefully threw it into the circle, scoring a point. Not stopping there, Mash also deliberately used just enough force to let the ball return to him and then continued to throw. Just like that, Mash continued to throw the ball to score points for the team. In less than a minute, the score skyrocketed, leaving everyone in the arena dumbfounded in utter amazement. And so on, until the end of time, Mash scored 999 points with a great score. Mash set the record as the highest scorer in history. Of course, Mash's team won, and Mash was also awarded a coin. After the match, Tom couldn't help but feel emotional because Mash brought home the victory. At the same time, Lance was reading the news about the match. The person who set the record with the highest score. Lance thinks Mash is still too naive and his next target is Mash. The next day, Mash's normal life is threatened as people surround him. Just then Lance shows up, saying he wants to join because they seem to be having a good time, suggesting a game of hide and seek. But Lance refused and took out a magic pot, directly pressed 3 of Mash's friends into a bottle and said that if you want to save them, come to the forest to meet me. Mash didn't understand what was going on, so he went to see Lance. Lance took out 2 coins to bet with Mash. It is known that the magicians all have a mark on their face. However, there are still a few people who possess 2 or more marks. Lance is one of them, and the score will represent magical power. Lance thinks that Mash has no choice since the vase is in his hand. Given Mash's personality, if the vase remained in Lance's hands, he would have the full advantage. Before starting, Lance will demonstrate his level of magic, leveling the surrounding forest to facilitate combat. Mash charged forward with fists in hand, but before he could reach Lance, he was controlled by gravity magic. Mash was completely crushed on the ground. Mash tries to get up but can't, so he uproots the tree below, knocking Lance off balance, dispelling the spell. Then Mash recharges. But this time, gravity didn't act on him. At this point, Mash dropped Lance's necklace, so he picked it up. Mash says Lance is Loli's lover, so Mash thinks of calling the police. Lance asks Mash what the most precious thing in the world is, and Mash gives a series of answers. But all is not right. Lance directly says that the answer is his sister. Lance goes to the cliff and threatens that Mash will throw the vase down and Mash will definitely jump down to save it. And Lance will use this opportunity to attack. At this point, Lance reminisced about the past. He was scolded by his sister for fighting and was injured again. The younger sister asked why Lance was fighting, and he lied that it was because of the fall. However, Lance is a very bad liar. On top of that, the younger sister learned that the main reason was that he helped the bullied children. Although Lance is very clumsy, his sister loves his clumsiness and gentleness. Then one day, my sister suddenly got sick. It is known that this is a very difficult disease to cure. The doctor told her that she only has 5 years to live. Lance's parents had no choice but to hand her over to the state. Lance painfully vows to become a god to go to the Department of Magic to save his sister. Meanwhile, Mash had finished removing his uniform and was in the starting position. In the blink of an eye, Mash disappeared from Lance's sight. When Mash returned, he had the vase in his hand, and Lance felt really mad. What magic did he use? feeling that Lance is not a bad guy because the vase that Lance dropped is a fake. The pot was actually inside Lance. The battle ends here. Before leaving, Lance gave Mash a dime because it was a bet he had made. After that, 3 of Mash's friends were also released.